Hi, today we will learn Dutch or Netherlands about these words. This column is in English, this column is in Dutch, and this column is in Indonesian or bahasa Indonesia. We will focus here and also here. And these small green letters is how I try to remind myself how to pronounce it in Indonesian letters, the way you pronounce it. So you might want to ignore these small green letters. I in Dutch is ik. This one, well, this is interesting because in daily conversation or myself, I don't have enough liquid in my throat and I cannot implant or do cloning for my throat. That's the best I can do in quickest way is oh. Even though the correct way, especially if you meet a really perfectionist or really, you have to repeat several times to get it right. For myself, I have to collect my liquid in my throat first, collect liquid from everywhere, wait, I have to collect until I'm ready with enough liquid in my throat so I can say this letter correctly. It becomes oh. But it's kind of rarely happened with me because most of the times I don't have enough liquid. So the best I can do is oh. So yeah, unless I have to make people wait, but it's impolite to make people wait until I get all the liquid and ready to pronounce this letter. Wait, and then yeah. Egg in Dutch, I hear it as a compilation of several Indonesian letters. In this case, A, E, I, Y. In Indonesian, I. And this one, land, as a noun and also as a verb, you write it in the same way with in English, but the L letter, I find that you have to swirl your tongue and then don't forget to pronounce the D. It becomes land. Yeah. And landed in Dutch, the past participle form is this one. You pronounce this in the same way with this, land. Don't forget the D, land. But you add this word and these letters. And again, with my case, my own throat, the lack of liquid, problem or case or fact, I have to collect first to get it right, unless if I meet a very perfectionist one that make me repeat several times, repeat. I have to collect first. Gelang. But most of the times I don't want to be impolite. The best I can do is gelang. Gelang. I'm so sorry, but that is the best I can do. I try my best. Gelang. Unless you want me to wait, you want to wait for me to collect all of my liquid until it's ready. Gelang. And it means landed for the past participle formation. Eiland in Dutch, again, these two letters, I hear it as compilation of these four letters in Indonesian, which are A, E, I, Y. And this one, Land. Eiland. 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 And in English, Netherlands use S at the end of this word, this letter S, but in Dutch, you don't use the S letter here because you use it for other stuff, for this, for language. In Dutch, you write it without S. Of course, you pronounce it without S. But I kind of hear a bit, and this one is in Indonesian letter, is I, in between this E and D. So if in English, E in between E and D. But this E is pronounced as E. And the intonation is Nederland. Nederland. My R sometimes is more into Indonesian R. My name, Ira. But I know in English and in Dutch, the R has to be in between Indonesian R and L. Ira. Nederland. Dutch as language, you just have to add the letter or the letter S at the end of this word. Nederlands. Nederlands. And for the people, if it's one without S, if it's plural or more than one, you add the letter S. Nederlander, Nederlanders. I'm an Indonesian. I will pronounce my own country's name with the way I pronounce it, Indonesia. But in English it's Indonesia. The way Indonesian call it, Indonesia. In Dutch, you replace this letter with this, and then don't forget to put two dots above. Because if you don't put these two dots, it becomes I. By using or writing these two dots, it means you read this letter. It becomes I instead of I. And you pronounce this word, the country of mine, as Indonesia. Indonesia. For language, Indonesian, there's letter C and H here. It means you pronounce it with a bit of texture. Sh, there's a bit breeze or texture. Shush. Instead of sis. That's why we have the C and H here to make texture with it. Shush. And we pronounce it as Indonesia for the language. And for the people, if it's plural, add the letter S. If it's singular, without the letter S. Don't forget 2 dots above this letter E to make it E instead of E. It becomes Indonesia or Indonesiers. Thank you. Hi, today we will learn Indonesian or bahasa Indonesia. Indonesia is Indonesia, bahasa is language. Inggris is England, bahasa Inggris is English. About these words, this column is in Dutch. We will focus here and here. The green letters here, it's just how I try to remind myself so I cannot forget. It's written in Indonesian letters, so I don't forget when I have to pronounce it. So you might want to ignore the green letters. I in Indonesian or bahasa Indonesia is aku or saya. The safe way I may say that, you just use saya most of the times, because this word aku is also a formal word for I, but there are several occasions or circumstances when you call yourself with aku is considered as impolite. For example, when you talk with someone who is your senior or seniors or older than you, it's impolite to call yourself as aku. I think I have made this video long time ago, but I forget in which video. I think I have to make another video about this. I, aku, saya, or with the other words, the slang ones. These 2 words, both are formal words to say I, but yeah, like what I said before, with aku there's several I can say exception or different circumstances, but both are formal words. To be safe, just use saya most of the times. But this aku is not a slang or casual one, because this aku is also a formal one. I, mata, egg, telur. Indonesian L is easy, breezy, you don't need to use lots of tongue muscle. You just say la, li, telur, telur. That is Indonesian L. But the R, you have to be a bit stronger, if I may say. R, as my name is Ira, but I understand that some foreigners call my name as Ira. It should be Ira. Telur, telur, telur. I write this O because in casual or daily conversation, we use the slang version, which is telur for egg. I kind of think that as Indonesian, when we talk in daily conversation, we try to use less word as possible. Sometimes the sentence and sentences are not in a complete formation. Most of the times we reduce the subject, and to make it as simple as possible. Also with the word, in this case, you don't have to use lots of tongue muscle, even though to say telur is also not as, you don't need lots of tongue muscle, but if you say telur, you even need less tongue muscle than if you have to say it with telur. You may want to try telur, 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 telur. Yeah. I kind of think that's kind of the reason why I keep saying kinda. The reason we talk in casual or slang. But of course, in academic field or formal occasion, we will just instantly switch to the formal one, or at least a bit formal. But in daily conversation, you might find that we talk in slang or casual ones. Land, whether as verb or noun in English, we just have one word for it, but in Indonesia, you have different words. As noun is lahan, isi berisi l, lahan. But as verb, we have base or basic or original word, darat. We add the prefix me, but because the base or basic word is darat, the initial is the prefix, it has to be men instead of me. Mendarat, land as verb. And in English, we have past participle, different verb for whether it's happening now or later in the future, or it happened before in the past. But in Indonesian, we use one verb for almost every occasion. We just have to add the time signal, or we add some extra word. But the verb itself, it's the same. Mendarat. We just add yesterday, next week, now. Also for any kind of subject, we use the same verb for the same action. We don't have any distinction with the verb based on the subject. It's the same. Mendarat. And there's interesting fact. This base or basic word, darat, if we add suffix an, daratan, it becomes a noun that also has the same meaning with this. Land as noun. Lahan or daratan. And now, Eiland. Remember, Indonesian L, easy, breezy, simple, no need to use lots of tongue muscle. L, la, li, lu, le, lo. Pulau, pulau. Netherlands, remember, easy, breezy, L. Belanda. I think it's from Holland, Hollanda, Belanda. Dutch as language. In Indonesian, it becomes a phrase that consists of two words. The first one is bahasa, and then the second one is the name of the country or the nation. In this case, Belanda. Of course, when we write the name of any country, we have to write it with capital or uppercase for the initial of the country's name, I mean. But for this as phrase, bahasa Belanda, the initial of this word, bahasa, you always have to write it with lowercase, the initial, when this phrase is in the middle or at the end of your sentence. Unless this phrase, bahasa Belanda, starts your sentence, of course you have to write this initial B with capital or uppercase. But you might find lots of mistake. This phrase, bahasa Belanda, or any kind of the other country, bahasa, and another country's name, it's in the middle or at the end of the sentence, but people write this one with capital or uppercase. It's incorrect. You always have to write it with lowercase unless this phrase starts your sentence. And now, Dutch people. It becomes a phrase that mostly consists of two words. First word is orang, and the second one is the name of the country, Belanda, in this case. And in Indonesian, when you want to make a noun as plural, you repeat the noun and then you add hyphen in between. It becomes orang, plural, but it's uncommon to, it's not wrong, but it's uncommon to whether you write or you pronounce it orang Belanda, because the common one is orang Belanda. Whether it's for one or more than one, you may know about it in the sentence after or before. You already knew about it from the sentence, the previous one, or you never know. But in Indonesian, we just use the singular form for it, orang Belanda. It's not wrong, orang Belanda, but it's uncommon. Foreigner will call my country's name Indonesia, but how Indonesian call or pronounce their own country's name, including myself, is this way: Indonesia, 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 Indonesia. Indonesian as language, again, it becomes a phrase that consists of two words. The first one is bahasa, the second one is the name of the country or the nation, in this case, Indonesia. Don't forget, this initial always have to be written with lowercase if this phrase is in the middle or at the end of your sentence. But if this phrase starts your sentence, of course you have to write this initial in capital or uppercase. But you might find this phrase bahasa Indonesia or bahasa with other country's name being written in the middle or at the end of the sentence, and people write this initial with capital or uppercase, and that is incorrect. That is wrong. And this one, I don't have to repeat because it's the same way with this one. It's not wrong, orang, but it's uncommon. You might know it's one or more than one from the sentence after or from the sentence before, or you will never know, because the common one and it's correct, it's good enough, it's correct. Indonesian people, orang Indonesia. Thank you.